Hello, I'm Nathan. Welcome to my channel. Today I am right down by the Brisbane River. I'm not actually here to shoot sunset, which you might expect given it's almost that time. But I'm actually here because tonight, or this evening, we're supposed to be having a really cool partial lunar eclipse. It's going to be something like 97% coverage, so almost full eclipse, but not quite. So we should get most of the moon really quite red with a little bit of white sliver down one of the edges. So I'm pretty keen to try and shoot it. I don't know how well it's going to go. I'm not really much of an astrophotographer, but hey, I'm going to give it a crack. I'm only about 3 kilometers or 4 kilometers from home, so, 3 kilometers from home, so it's not going to be that difficult. It's not like I've come a long way, and it'll either work or it won't. One thing I'm a little bit concerned with in terms of weather is there is quite a bit of cloud right out behind where the moon's supposed to rise, so it should be rising right back there above the city, and at the moment it's quite cloudy. All we can do is wait. We may get some nice colors and I might get a nice sunset shot between now and then. We'll see what happens. The moon is supposed to be rising in about 15 minutes or so, but it will be behind the city for probably another 5 or maybe 10 minutes, I guess, after that. So I've got a little bit of time. I'm just going to keep a bit of an eye on how things progress. I was thinking about, I'm using my Fuji panoramic camera, the 617 obviously. I did bring the GFX as well. I want to try and shoot with both and see how I go. I do have Fuji Velvia 50 transparency film loaded. Really great saturation and contrast, but very low dynamic range. So I may need to take 2 shots and then combine the scans together like an HDR style image after. So we'll see how we go, because the moon is generally quite bright and you've really got to expose for the highlights with Velvia. So we'll see how we go. I did bring my GFX as well to get a couple of digital photos as well. So I brought 2 lenses for the GFX, the 35mm Olympus shift lens, which gives me that wide angle. And I also brought the 150mm Hasselblad lens, which gives me that short sort of telephoto. So we should be pretty good as far as field of view and lenses goes. And this one obviously is a 105mm lens, so it's quite wide, but it also brings things slightly close. Wide because of the 17cm wide panorama. So I should be able to get some nice shots, pending the weather. So we'll just wait and see what happens. So I've just slightly adjusted my composition. I double checked the app for where the moon is coming up. So now I've got the tripod set in a location so that no matter which lens, which camera I have on there, I should be able to get the moon in frame more or less where I want it, providing those clouds don't get in the way. So I might throw the GFX on and see if I can get a cool shot with that. So I've just grabbed a couple of quick shots with the GFX. Nothing amazing, but there's a little bit of purple in the clouds. The best of the color is actually just a little bit round to my left, which is slightly more to north. But I'm not going to move the tripod for that because I've got the tripod set where I want it to be. So now the moon should be sort of just slightly up just over there. I've just got to wait for it to crack above those buildings and hopefully we can get something. So I've just had to realign my tripod because I checked the app and it says the moon's in a different position where it was saying half an hour, 45 minutes ago. So I've repositioned the tripod, checked composition with both cameras, and it should be okay. It's not going to be as nice a composition with this one as it originally was, because it's going to get a little bit more around this way and it'll get some of the trees on the side of the river in. But it should still be pretty nice. But it should also work really well on the GFX with either lens. So the moon right now should be just above the horizon, but not far enough up that I can see it yet. It's just got to come up a little bit more, maybe another 15 minutes or so, and we should start to be able to see the moon. So we'll just keep waiting and see what happens. So this is basically my composition. Excuse this poor footage. It's just on my mobile phone, as I didn't want to move the camera in case I couldn't get it back to where it is. But sort of looking at here, the moon should be rising just to the left of that tall building there very shortly. So just a little check-in. I've been taking a bunch of shots with the GFX because the moon's well and truly out there, and I think I've got a couple of good ones with the GFX. It is making me doubt whether I'm going to get anything on the G617 though, just because the exposure times are too long. I'm having to do, so I'm doing a 10-second exposure right now, and that's okay as far as movement goes, but the problem being I'm shooting 10 seconds at say f11 but at ISO 400, so that equates to 40 seconds at ISO 50, which means the moon's just going to streak across the frame if I get it. So I mean, the moon is going to get brighter after the eclipse officially finishes, so so I'll just wait and see how it goes, but I'm just not confident I'm going to get a good shot on the G617. If not, it's not the end of the world because I have got a couple of good frames with it now, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So I realized way too late that there was a technical issue with my film camera where it didn't actually wind on the frame whenever I wound it on. This camera does do that sometimes, and I just didn't even think about it. So I cocked the shutter and would take a shot, wind it on, but it didn't actually wind past frame 1. So I took about probably 6 frames, 5 or 6 shots on the one frame. So that's not going to work out at all. Lucky I got some really good shots, or hopefully really good shots on the GFX. I'm going to have one last crack at this exposure with the film camera. I've made sure it wound on, and I've done one frame hopefully for the moon. Now I'm just going to wait a little bit for the moon to move a bit further away, and then I'll take a longer exposure for the city, and I'll just remove the moon from the scan in post. There's not much more I can do than that, so hopefully that will work out. I'm just waiting a little bit longer for that moon to move away. I only realized that I was having this issue when I thought I'd shot 3 full frames and had 1 left, and I went to shoot a completely different composition just to use the last frame and realized it was still saying it was on frame 1. So I'm not very happy. I was actually really quite mad when I noticed that. Not much I can do about it now. We'll just see if I can salvage this last attempt at the moon shot, but we'll just see what happens. I'm just going to chill out for a few more minutes, and then I will get this exposure going, shoot it at f22 and do 2 minutes. I've packed up the GFX, so it's sort of, this is my last attempt on the film camera. Let's see. Well, I'm all packed up, really disappointed, but I guess it happens sometimes. You know, I was rushing a little bit, I didn't pay enough attention perhaps, and the camera didn't do what it was supposed to do. Lucky I got what should be some really good photos on the GFX, but now I am gonna head home because it's starting to get a bit late and I'm just feeling a bit deflated. So what will be will be. And I had fun, even if it didn't work out. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you.